Moving fast on your film isn't the problem. Moving from anxiety is. I'm your Moria Wright. This is the Producer's Blueprint. Let's get into it. Underneath a lot of the chaos or mayhem we feel as filmmakers, as producers, isn't always about the rushing of the project. It's the anxiety that you're experiencing underneath. Am I doing enough? Will this be good enough? Will my peers enjoy it? Am I skipping steps? Should I wait, delay? All of these things create anxious thought patterns. They come from anxious thought patterns, and they can impact the way you approach your project and also begin to prevent you from seeing things clearly. And I'm going to say this because y'all know I always go back to who you have on your team, especially when it comes to clearly hiring from a place of abundance, from a place of joy, from a place of excitement, and not a place of fear, of hurriedness. Is that a word? That's okay. You know what I mean? Hurriedness, of rushing, right? Those are the differences, and it impacts how your project moves forward. So let me talk to y'all about the things that I had, okay? Before this version of myself that has been established and in the making since, I guess one could say like 2016, like past 10 years. Before that, I had a YouTube channel. It was titled Profound Coils. I had a collaborative cooking show. It was titled, what were we called? Oh, Nourishing Beauty. I loved Nourishing Beauty. It was a lot of fun. I had a hair care community. Momentum was real. I was doing different collaborations. I had a brand partnership deal. I was an ambassador, and I had no blueprint. I had no schedule. I was just kind of going with the flow, and it was fun. But if I had actually thought it through like a business, as a businesswoman, I know where I would have been by now. I would have been seeing $1 million. But we are not going back. We can't change the hands of time. All I'm saying is slowing down to make sure that you are building this as a business. Each project really should have its own LLC, but we're not talking about that. Each project is in its own right a business, right? So you have to approach it that way, or I suggest you approach it that way if you really want to push the project far without pushing yourself into madness. So what shifted for me? What changed for me? Well, I got into grad school in 2013, cute. And then grad school was extremely demanding because it's grad school. And then by 2014, and I had my equipment in New York when I moved from the Bay to New York, I had my equipment and I was starting to try to shoot in my room and my lighting was off and it just wasn't the same with what I was building prior. But it isn't the environment because you can shoot anywhere. It was the lack of planning. It was the lack of, I would say, clear vision that I even had. I was talented. I had collaborators, but that vision to see those things through was just not present. Moving forward without structure is not producing. It's survival, and it's going to keep you in survival mode. And that is not a pleasant place to be for an extended period of time. So this is pulled from the Producer's Blueprint. If you want to be able to work in depth, I suggest you go ahead and make that purchase. But if not, it's all good. We're going to work through these questions anyways. So here we go. Question number 1, okay, is can I connect this decision directly to my project's purpose statement? So this is what we're going to call the readiness check. Like, am I ready? Are you ready? And I get ready so I can stay ready. All right. So can I connect this decision directly to my project's purpose statement? Not does it feel right? It's can you draw a clear line from this move right here, okay, to the reason that the project exists in the first place? A through line is exactly what I'm saying. Okay. So number 2, secondly, am I making this decision because the project is ready? Or because I need to feel like something is happening? That's real. That is a real creative's I don't know, would you call it our Achilles heel? I don't know, but it's a real thing, okay? And that's the conviction, right? Versus the anxiety question. That's what you're going to ask yourself to really be accountable to why you're pushing and moving forward, especially when you're doing so expeditiously with momentum, right? Quickly. And both answers are very, very useful for you, okay? Third, I want you to think about, can I absorb the outcome either way? Like, no matter how this turns out, how this happens, am I good? All right. What happens if it works? If your momentum, if the speed at which you're going, if your vision works? What happens if it doesn't? Will your project survive if it doesn't work? Like, can you have hiccups along the way and the project will still be okay? Or is it determined by everything going especially well? Okay, so now that you have those, we're going to reflect. So, take your water. I'm going to take a little sip. Just a little sip. I don't want to mess up my lip gloss, okay? So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to close this up. So I want you to think about the next major thing, major move that you're planning. I want you to reflect on that, bring that into your consciousness. And now we're going to run through the check again. Question number 1, I want you to think about is, can I connect this move directly with my project's purpose statement? Okay, you're going to write out the connection, that through line on paper. If it's a clear through line, bing, you're firing off on all cylinders, baby. Hey, you're good to go. If you're reaching to find the through line and it's feeling like a zigzag and a alley-oop in a circle, that's also a sign that you need to slow it down so that you can get clear and have a clear through line. It should be simple enough, okay? And then question 2, I want you to think about, am I making this move because the project is ready or because I need something to be happening? You got to answer this. We just talked about it, but I want you to answer this. Remember, I said you can do voice memos. I don't care how you do it. You can write it down. Writing down is very powerful, especially pen to paper, pencil to paper. But regardless, you want to get this out, okay? And I want you to think about the conviction. Name what makes the project ready. Like, when do you know that it's ready to go? To go meaning ready to start production, not even in post. And then if it's an anxious, anxiety-induced feeling, then I want you to name what you're measuring yourself against, or it's just the two of us. It's just me and it's you. Who you're measuring yourself against. It's just me and you. Okay, I got to keep it real. Okay, so now on to question 3. When we think and reflect, can I absorb the outcome either way? And absorb is a very specific word because it means like, can I take the impact of the outcome either way? Because our projects impact us, right? It impacts other people, but really it's impacting us first. Can you absorb the impact either way, that outcome either way? I want you to, in your mind, imagine both paths. If it doesn't work out, does the path destabilize the entire project? If something doesn't work out, will that destabilize the entire project? If I don't get the cinematographer of my dreams, does that destabilize your project? Maybe it would destabilize your project because you feel your cinematographer is going to get you to the next level. And therefore, you begin to identify that the project is more about collaborating with a person than telling the story. That's something to really think about, okay? And then I want you to also, in this reflection, build a contingency before you move forward, right? If this doesn't happen, if I don't book this cinematographer of my dreams, what happens? And the contingency can't be, well, I guess I'll go with so-and-so to be my cinematographer. No one wants to feel like, they're like on the bench and then you just like put them in because your star player can't play. Like, nobody wants to feel that way. Like, your contingency plan should still be authentic. It should still mean that your project is going to have the success, whatever that means, still have the impact, right? Contingency doesn't mean your plan B people or things or festivals are treated lesser than. So keep that in check. We're just all human here. Just keep it in check. All right, we're going to close. Moving fast doesn't necessarily cost you time. Moving from the wrong place, your heart posture, is what costs you time, and it could cost you relationships. And I learned this because I was moving through projects without a blueprint. I certainly didn't have the Plan Like a Pro blueprint, and it was costing me a lot more than I would like to think. When I began to change how I approach my projects, there was nothing that could hold me back. When I changed how I approached collaborations, I was able to freely give and freely receive as a result of that giving. So before you move on, please make sure your answer to question number 2 in the readiness check is thorough, okay? Write down whether you're moving from a place of conviction or whether you're moving from a place of measurement, as in measuring yourself against others, even if it's another version of yourself. That exists as well. So let's run this down. What did we do in chapter 1, y'all? In chapter 1, we spoke about the foundation. Chapter 2 was where that foundation is getting tested. We're testing it. We're doing a pressure test. We're making sure that it can withstand, okay, the test of time. And the readiness check is how you begin to build that foundation and how you begin to see and know and recognize and internalize the difference, okay? Conviction or measurement. We're building the whole producer's mindset one episode at a time. I'm Yamoria Wright. This is the Producer's Blueprint. If the film matters, make it anyway.